Peter Tatchell on Paul O'Grady. I was very lucky to personally know Paul and to work with him on LGBT plus campaigns stretching back nearly 4 decades. I first met him when he was playing Lily Savage, his drag alter ego, at the gay pub in South London, the Royal Vauxhall Tavern. That's how we got to know each other, and we subsequently worked with one another on a number of highlighted campaigns like the battle against the Tory government's Section 28 and to support people living with HIV and AIDS. Paul also turned up at many, many other protests. When the Russian government announced its new anti-gay law in 2013, Paul turned up at the rally outside Downing Street to demand the British government speak out against this odious legislation. Paul was also a great champion of animal rights. For him, animal rights and human rights were two sides of the same coin. They were both about ending suffering. So he was more than just a drag and LGBT person. He was an all-round humanitarian. During the 1980s, he was incredibly angry at the way in which Conservative government policies had decimated his beloved Merseyside. He saw the huge increase in homelessness, unemployment and poverty. And that made him really angry and very anti-Tory. Of course, he used his wit to mock the Conservative government of Margaret Thatcher, to ridicule its policies. And then later, of course, when they enacted Section 28, the first new anti-gay law in Britain for nearly a century, he turned his wit and humour against that odious legislation as well. Going back to the Royal Vauxhall Tavern, Lily Savage, Paul O'Grady, was at that pub on the night it was raided in 1987. He was in his dressing room, fixing his wig and adjusting his dress, just about to go on stage, when police barged in. Now, Lily thought they were strippers in police uniforms and part of the show. It was only when he went out onto the stage that he saw the police manhandling the gay customers and bar staff. And they were wearing rubber gloves. This was the height of the AIDS pandemic, with all the hysteria and panic that went along with it. And as a result, the police, ignorant, ill-informed and prejudiced, were wearing rubber gloves because they thought you could get HIV from touching a gay person. Lily's response was to survey the scene and make the quip at the officers as follows. "Good that you're here. How about helping us with the washing up?" A clear reference to the rubber gloves. The whole pub broke out in uproar. Even some of the police half chuckled. But, Paul was really angry about that raid, which was very typical of that era. He never got an apology. But now, today, he would have been fronting our big campaign in early June to demand the police apologise for the historic persecution of the LGBT plus community. In the 1980s and 90s, thousands of gay and bisexual men were arrested for consenting victimless behaviour. And my foundation organised and conceived a campaign to get the police to apologise. John O'Grady, Paul, cut that bit out. Paul O'Grady was going to be part of that campaign. He was going to be a spokesperson for it. We'd already recorded the videos and got his quotes online ready to go. Sadly, Paul won't be able to join us for that campaign, but we will go ahead anyway, and we will, with the permission of his husband, use those quotes and videos, and we will make this campaign in honour of Paul O'Grady's memory. We want, for his sake, and for the sake of the many thousands of others who were victimised by the police, to get that apology. That campaign will be a memorial to the Paul O'Grady we love and will always remember.